James Wade to round off a good nice start here in Sheffield. John Taylor, Wade, was talking to you about how many points it needs to qualify. A win wouldn't make it qualify for the playoffs, but it would be pretty close.
Well, yeah, with the results going all the other way as well, obviously it's just a bit early because there's another 5 matches after this, but he seems convinced that the 18 points will be enough. Maybe if he gets to 19-20, then he can start to relax, but all he's interested in is beating James Wade right now. And like you can see on the table, that will put him in a real good position.
You say the only thing he's thinking about is being James Wade. I would imagine on his mind as well is that 117.953 average from Michael van Gerwen.
Well, up until this Premier League, Phil held the record for the highest average, and now it's been taken from him twice, in effect. So he likes to set records, and if he can win one back, then all well and good. But James Wade played well earlier in the night, and like you see the table there, he can go joint second on points with Michael van Gerwen. So there's a lot to play for now, and it's getting quite exciting, I must admit.
James Wade unbeaten in 5, good form. Fascinating match to round off the evening. John Parton, Rod Studio commentators.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, Wayne. Yes. Bringing the curtain down on the first week of the second phase of the 2016 Premier League here in Sheffield. And a crucial game for James Wade. You feel if he can back up that success he had over Raymond van Barneveld, he really will be in the thick of the mix for a place in the semi-finals. If he wins, he'll go up to 15 points. That's level with Michael van Gerwen. It would be above Lewis and Anderson and just a point off the top of the table, John. And that's some feat for a bloke that nobody is talking about, really, as a contender.
Well, yeah, and, you know, as far as he's down the table a bit at the beginning of the night, he's got the 2 points in a very good win earlier. I think the pressure is off, and he can, against Phil Taylor, who's number 1 on the table, he can actually relax a bit. No one's expecting the points there. He can expect Phil to take points off the other players. So this is kind of a freebie shot. Really get some momentum going.
Well,
100.
Can cast your mind back to Newcastle. A similar sort of scenario where James Wade had to play twice. That night also, he beat Michael Smith 7-4 in his first game.
60.
Then he had to play Phil Taylor in his last match of the evening, and really he took a caning. Phil Taylor went to town on him. 7-2.
140.
So there's a little bit of previous there.
James Phil has done a lot beating James over the years, and it's tough for James to approach the match with a lot of hope, but I'm thinking just on what I explained earlier with the 2 points earlier tonight, maybe it will relax him a bit just to play darts, and because it is kind of a freebie shot, if you will. Might as well get it done on a night where you've had a win rather than come back just on a one night where you have to play Phil.
121.
As for the opening leg, Phil Taylor, remember, has already beaten Gary Anderson tonight comprehensively. It's 9 or 1? 9 will
89.
do. Well, nice opening introduction to Phil Taylor for this second match of the evening, throwing a dozen darts to lead double 16. Smooth.
97. Phil 32.
And he finished very well earlier. That not a very good dart, but 2 left. It's getting closer.
16.
So, well, this is a key for James.
104.
Needs the 104 to punish, and you feel to have really a good chance at all. Still needs a treble.
Never up, never in, I'm afraid. Phil Taylor having
16.
missed 3 at this area of the board. At the double 16, now looking at double 8. You would not expect him to miss again, and he hasn't, so he takes the lead. 1-0, yes, John was alluding to Taylor's dominant record over James Wade. Have to go back 14 Premier League meetings, or 15 in fact, to find a win by Wade in this competition over Taylor. The last 14 have resulted in 10 Phil Taylor wins and 4 draws. That's what you're talking about, John. That's dominance.
It certainly is, and I didn't know those numbers, but you know, just in general, Phil dominates James and seems to be relaxed playing him. I think it's more a case of Phil being relaxed playing against James than James having a problem and facing a challenge. But Phil's game usually comes up way up.
Yeah, he went years upon years without a big TV win, then he finally beat him at the Grand Prix in Ireland. James Wade had a win at the Masters, but he's kind of reverted to type since then, really, for whatever reason. He hasn't hit a maximum at all tonight. Still hasn't, but the 140 gets him in good shape. His wife Samantha watches on. And Phil Taylor rattles in a max to really turn this leg around.
Gives him first chance.
105.
Chances to break through. He loves these outshots that end on the bull. If he needs it, well, he will do if he gets treble 17. So bullseye. And that's the sort of pain that he's historically doled out to James Wade.
Third leg is Phil to throw first.
Beautiful ball from Phil Taylor. 2-0, and he has the darts. Well, playing twice on the opening night of the second phase, a big advantage if you make use of it, John, isn't it? If Phil Taylor wins twice, that table looks very healthy from his point of view. He'd leave Sheffield 3 points clear of the pack. That would look nice.
That would feel good. Very good. Even with the other players with game in hand. You have to remember that out there. But I'd rather have the points on the board.
Absolutely. Game in hand is paper points, isn't it?
What a response here from James Wade, though. The typical sort of break shot by Phil in the last leg to put him 2-0 down, and James comes back and starts with a 180.
100.
Digs out a ton, maintaining an edge. So it's Phil who can't even leave a finish now. So James Wade should get a chance to break back.
Full credit.
100.
At least 6 from 2-2-1 down here for the machine. He's found his range.
100.
Two nice steady tons after an opening 180, and he can answer the Powers 1-2-1 with one of his own. Break for break.
140.
He'll need to.
James Wade 121.
Looks like it. So treble 17 to do exactly what Phil Taylor has just done.
96.
Well, those two darts at bull were only what, John? Half a centimetre apart, but it's misses as good as a mile.
They both made the same noise. And there'll be some noise in this auditorium if this double 18 goes in.
66. James Wade 25.
He wanted the 10, didn't he? For double 16, but he wasn't far away from the revised. Oh,
No
what
score.
are you doing, James?
Goodness
me.
36.
Wild.
That was for a 5 to leave his double 10. Believe it or not.
Double 9 here for Phil Taylor as it gets a little bit scratchy. Very scratchy.
No score. James Wade 25.
Try the same way. A much better dart this time. It's a good marker, but it's nervy up there.
Score. Phil Wade 36.
Somebody forgot to turn the doubles back on after the last match.
What a strange leg. It started with a James Wade 180, remember? And it's culminated in some catastrophic attempts at the double from both players.
34. James Wade 20.
Here we go again. Double 10. And that is that.
James on the third leg. James Wade.
What a leg that
Fourth
was.
leg is James to throw first.
Now, after all that, I bet you Phil wishes James had hit that bull.
Yeah.
And saved himself the agony of messing up holding his throw.
Weird leg of darts. And here's another one starting with a maximum. The last one started in similar style from James Wade. How will this one end?
$100.
Wade, remember, bust 25 by hitting double top, and then Phil Taylor on 36 twice came inside double 18 and inside double 9 in successive visits, which is most unexpected.
140.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I ever saw 25 bust with the tops.
Yeah. Well, to do what Phil Taylor did once could be considered unfortunate. Twice was carelessness.
100.
And now, looking odds on, 2-2. When Taylor was 2 up, remember.
And James is going to have another crack at that 1-2-1 out. Oh, and he's got pressure on it. Just fantastic setup shot for Phil Taylor to leave 84. A perfect first dart from James, though. Perfect second dart, double 14.
107. Phil Uruguay, 84.
May only be a dart at bullseye now. Will be. He's hit it once in this match before. And again.
On the fourth leg, Wilson.
Well, he's saying it's madness. Couldn't hit the outer ring of the board, and suddenly he's pinning the red bit. Par excellence.
Game on.
He might have to start going for 2 when he has 52 left. Well, both these players have brought the quality that they demonstrated earlier this evening with them into this match. Just a bit of nerves there, that one leg. That was a crazy leg.
Was, of course, a break of throw by Wade, that crazy leg that John talks about, but
100.
Phil Taylor returned the favour to re-establish a 2-leg buffer. Wade looks for a third maximum of the match.
140.
Both at 2-2-1 after 6. Just a lovely leg of darts here.
$60.
I thought for a moment we were going to see another 1-2-1 leave. May of course see one here if Wade can hit a level ton. Needs the treble though, so to do.
100.
Does so.
Phil Uruguay, 161.
Phil's finished a few 1-6-1s, and I'm sure quite a few against James even. Not this time.
100. James Uruguay, 121.
Off the break back. Get the match back on serve. He's the treble 17. We've seen this story before. This time it does not have a happy ending.
57.
In terms of the match, it was
Phil Uruguay,
desperately
61.
needed. Is this for 4-1? 2, so 19 for tops.
41.
Chance then for Wade, John.
James Uruguay, 64.
Treble 8 will be his target for tops, I'm sure. Oh, you surprised me.
I think he did go for it. Did you see the look on his face after it?
44.
It was a way off, wasn't it?
Phil Uruguay,
Yeah, he underthrew that
20.
first dart significantly. Well, there's quite a bit of tension up there, as well as skill. Double 10. Should be a good marker. It is. 4-1 for Phil.
Signaling it's James to throw first. Game on.
Well, it's been a strange one, hasn't it? Because James Wade has had chances to, well, really,
60.
you could argue he could have been 3-2 up with some buts and woulds and shouldas and could'ves, but Phil Taylor keeps hitting the crucial doubles, despite being nowhere near the level of performance that he put up against Gary Anderson, particularly on the finishing. In this match, Phil Taylor has hit 4 and missed 11 darts at double.
$140.
You'd have to say, if Wade is to have any chance in the match, he must hold his throw here, get back to within 2.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's in danger of another hammering at the hands of the power in the 2016 Premier League.
100.
He is only the one break down. It just looks worse than it is. 4-1.
100.
What a give here for a 2 treble visit. You cannot see much of the red bed there.
Yeah, once you've hit the first one single, you're thinking, I'll give anything just for 1 out of the next 2.
43.
Because
Villiers-Bois,
no treble
161.
really means no chance next turn. Or slim chance.
There might not be a next turn. Had Phil Taylor hit the treble 17.
I was surprised how quickly he threw that second dart. I'm not surprised he
158.
missed it. It's unlike Phil. Perhaps he's feeling nervy himself, even at 4-1 up.
98. Villiers-Bois,
Well, they're both on
64.
2 dart combinations, but crucially, Phil Taylor has first chance. And now 2 darts at double 8 to move 5-1 in front here. Or is Wade going to get a sniff at this 60? He is.
56.
He is.
James Villiers-Bois, 60.
Both a little unsettled. 2 darts for tops. He would preferred missing low and then go double 10.
40.
Now he misses low
Villiers-Bois,
and he just misses.
Well, double 4 then for Phil Taylor. That's better.
James on the sink
He
leg.
goes 5-1 up, but in all the recent legs, Wade has had
first.
chance at double. Admittedly, it's been some crumbs off the Phil Taylor table after the power has missed himself, but he's had chances, John.
Yeah, he really hasn't made the most of Phil's errors. He would have dreamed of these chances in other encounters and didn't get them. And,
85.
perhaps here, just surprised to get them and a little nervy and edgy himself.
Well, John, if you were offered the opportunity to play Phil Taylor and you were told he was going to average 94.5 and he was going to have a 28% success rate on the doubles, you'd say, where do I sign up, please?
Yeah, and promptly play 70 average. Sometimes it's too easy.
Yeah.
You want it hard. It's crazy, the psychology of the game. The thing being, when you see your opponent struggling turn to turn ahead of you, you try to exploit that, so you start trying instead of just playing. And you can often, sometimes you can punish
100.
and really make the most of it. Other times, though, you take yourself off your own game, which is more what's happening here on the outshots.
Absolutely.
100.
The end result looks like being a big win for Phil Taylor, which, let's not forget, it's not just the win for Phil Taylor. The leg difference is starting to become a factor as well, because 2 big wins for Phil
100.
Taylor over Anderson and Wade. When Van Gerwen only scraped home 7-5 against Thornton, it started to become a factor, the leg difference.
Yeah, and the days of skunks are past, I believe. Now that we've come to the business end of the Premier League.
So 76 points separating Phil Taylor now from a 6-1 lead, unassailable in terms of victory for Wade.
76.
16. Double top then for Phil Taylor for another leg.
36.
Well, it's a frustrating
Villiers-Bois, 101.
match on the doubles for Phil Taylor. Highly frustrating.
Really needs it. Double top and
James
it's in.
on the 7th leg.
Middle of the bed.
James Wade. I think it's James to throw first. Game
Well,
on.
finally, he does take advantage of a Phil Taylor slip on double.
Just perhaps can start a rally. Does have throw here. That was a break.
100.
Well, if James Wade needs any encouragement, he only needs to go back to that Robert Thornton Van Gerwen game where MVG was 6-2 up and it looked like that was all she wrote. And the Thorn ran off 3 straight legs in scintillating style and
60.
gave himself a chance of a draw. He ultimately lost 7-5, but it just shows that no game is over until it's over.
Yeah, especially
100.
in this Premier League and the format of the round robin and that. And You get distracted sometimes up there. You think you have the job done. You're thinking about what your job is. 2 points, 1 point, whatever. You think you've accomplished it, and you lose your focus sometimes.
.99.
The level of player, the caliber of player we have is anybody can rattle off 3 legs on the trot against anybody else. It's that
60.
simple. You can't let your guard down. You fight for every leg.
Next week it's Van Barneveld against Taylor and Wade against Lewis. And among the other fixtures
60.
in Belfast, Michael van Gerwen takes on Gary Anderson. And a big night of Premier League darts in Northern Ireland.
.99. James require 142.
Well, 6 darts from 142 for Wade to put him within a couple of legs. Yeah.
107.
Thought he was going to find that treble 14 perfectly as well to tee it up, but nevertheless, 2 dart finish.
Yeah, probably the 15 for double 10. Right, side by side.
50.
Let's see what he
James
does.
require 35.
Does indeed go for double 10 and
Game
gets it
shot on the
successfully
eighth leg.
first
James
start.
Wade. Ninth leg is Phil to
Still
throw
just the
first.
breakdown, but
Game on.
this would be the time to get that break if he's really going to affect the comeback.
Well, it has to come in this, the 9th leg or the 11th. That's all he's got left. Only 2 chances
81.
to break, and there's an opening, John, for James Wade. Only 81 for Phil Taylor, and Wade looks to go barreling in with a biggie.
140.
I'd be happy with that. Now he's thinking, okay, 12 dart leg is on, 2 more 140s, 81 out, 2, and we're in business.
100.
He really doesn't, it doesn't matter what Phil does now. He could go out 180, 140, but it's highly, highly unlikely.
96.
Let himself down a bit. He needed the 2 treble a turn pace. Now James will have to manufacture a 180 or a 177. Well, that's if Phil scores heavily,
Well,
of course.
yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right.
97.
It didn't matter what Phil did. You were right about that, John. But of course, if he threw something ordinary like that, it just allows James Wade a little bit more breathing space than he already had.
60.
I'm kind of surprised at his shot selection there. I went 19s, and then he couldn't leave a finish after the first 2 darts. If he has 2 single 19s, he can hit either treble 20 or treble 19. So a bit shocking there, the mathematics. At a crucial juncture.
100.
Well, an air of desperation creeping in
60.
as he tried to
We
force
123.
one or more of those darts into the treble, and Phil Taylor, having been behind for much of the leg, is now 22 in front and with a finish to eye up. Well,
That was cocky enough.
well, was
91.
it ever?
James Uruguay 145.
If anything was going to be a little slap in the face, motivate him, that would be, but even there, he just has lost his
45.
his
Phil
guide.
Uruguay 32.
Good shape, but it's a point for Phil Taylor for this double 16.
Game
There
shot
it
on
is.
ninth leg. Booting.
And despite a lackluster leg,
James
Phil
to throw first.
easily
Game on.
gets a point out of the match.
Well, that puts the brakes on the James Wade rally.
100.
He's got to win 3 legs running. 2 would be on his own throw.
I'd be surprised if Phil doesn't win this leg now. James is deflated. He knew he had that last leg in his control. And
100.
just his game evaporated. It's the only way you can say it. At
98.
this point, I don't think he has the faith that if he gets a 180 to get ahead, that he won't come back and have a bad next turn. He's just feeling the pressure.
And Phil Taylor has not thrown with anything like the authority or
60.
fluency that he did against Gary Anderson. Far from it, in fact, but it still looks like being more than enough. Going back to the point you made right at the start of the piece, John, that he has this dominance over James Wade, and it seems really not to matter how well or badly
45.
or somewhere in between Phil Taylor plays, he still beats James Wade.
He finds a way, he just has that confidence, he will come out the victor. This to leave a finish.
140.
So this leg still in James Wade's control. Needs a big score.
$92.
And he's failed to leave a finish. Poor math again. If he'd gone back to the 20s the last start, he would have left 164 with a single. So Phil benefiting.
105.
Well, sometimes in the second match of an evening, it's not just the left arm that stops working as it should. Sometimes the little grey cells become a little
60.
befuddled as well.
196.
Well, it does take a lot out of you mentally. The concentration needed to play darts, let alone do the math. Just to throw the darts takes a lot of mental energy.
Well, no finish now, obviously, and James Wade with a
42.
chance to stay afloat
James
here
Wade,
with one of these
106.
kind of trademark finishes, just over 100. Needs to find the treble 18. Well, he stayed there, which would have left him 26 had he hit the red bit. And so Phil Taylor 2 darts away
82.
from a second win
54.
in Sheffield, and to go 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League. He wants tops.
$44.
This is some
Oh,
tired darts.
yeah,
Rod.
I think
Very
it is.
tired on both sides.
Game goes on.
James Wade.
The band
Left
played
leg
on.
through
James
first.
Wade wins the 10th leg.
Come on.
Phil Taylor having missed chances to wrap it up. Phil Taylor has the darts now. This is Wade's last chance to break. Has to break here, otherwise it's done.
Yeah. Only a ton. But only a ton answered, so the likelihood of a 12 or 11 dart leg is greatly diminished now for either.
Now the lot here would make it interesting. All of a sudden it's started to get interesting.
Yes, his 12 dart stock just went way up again. And he needs a 12 darter, you feel.
Plenty of chance of that now, John. I suppose on the basis of what we've seen before, you'd say it's unlikely, but there's no reason why James Wade suddenly couldn't flick a switch here, and the switch is being flicked. 160 left.
81.
One more treble you felt there, John. You know, 121, not 81, would have made such a difference.
Well, we could have a treble and a couple of tops next turn. That would be an entertaining way to stay alive. It's treble 19, would leave double 12. Just a huge shot from Phil Taylor saying you must do this or else.
It's on. And now it is on. Double 10. Oh, that could not have been closer without going in.
24.
Agony for Wade. Is it to be ecstasy for Phil Taylor? 2 wins on the night, beckon. And it's in. Double 12. Phil Taylor makes it 2 wins on the night. And the power is 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
Phil Taylor signs the board as usual, hands it out to the crowd. It's been an interesting night, darts. Tailed off towards the end with some scrappy darts, some poor finishing. But this is what we've seen. James Wade, 7-4 victory over Barney. Taylor in his first match, 7-3 over Gary Anderson. Robert Thornton taking on Michael Van Gerwen. Van Gerwen 117.953 average in that 7-5 victory, 11 180s in that match. Adrian Lewis 6 apiece with Peter Snake by right, and Taylor getting his second win of the evening, 7-4 over James Wade. Fascinating run in towards the end of the season. Phil Taylor 3 points clear from Michael Van Gerwen, Adrian Lewis, Gary Anderson and James Wade. 3 players tied on 13 points. Should be a fascinating build-up to semi-finals night of the O2 on May the 19th. Lots to keep you entertained on Sky.